It's gonna be a hot one today. Yeah, so this is gonna be slightly different, more stream of consciousness kind of thing. I don't know. So I went to B&H Build Expo yesterday, and it was very cool. Kind of overwhelming. I've been to like cons and stuff. Like I've been to Comic-Con multiple times in New York. I've been to PAX East up in Boston a couple of times. So I'm used to like the whole convention thing, the whole expo thing. But yet I still went in not knowing what to expect. And it's, kind of like the first type thing. I guess it's the closest thing to NAB that I'll get to. But yeah, it was just overwhelming. Not overwhelming. It was awesome. Just being a camera nerd and a gear nerd and seeing so many other people that have the same passions and love for like cameras and storytelling, essentially all in one place. It's very cool. And this morning I was reflecting on it, and I was reflecting on my time, when I was taking a shower, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot this video. I'm gonna shoot it raw. I don't expect there to be any cuts unless I take some really long pauses. But essentially, I'm just going to record this video and upload it. Hope you don't mind. But one of the things that was really cool about Build Expo was they say don't meet your heroes, right? But I got to meet some of my heroes, and I couldn't be more happy, impressed. I don't know. It's yeah. So basically, let me give you some ground rules. So the expo center, you have the main floor where all the vendors have their big booths showing off all their cool products and everything. So you're walking through some of these lanes, and I'm walking through a lane, and there's Gerald Undone. If you don't know Gerald Undone, I mean, he's like the camera guy. Like he's like the guy to go to for reviews for cameras. Like, because he gets down into the technical nitty gritty and he just tells you how it is. He tells you honestly, like, what his affiliations are with the companies, and, dives into all the technical numbers and charts and all that fun stuff. And, some people give him some crap because maybe he's not a fan of a particular camera of a brand that you might particularly like. But you know what? He's just telling it how he sees it, and I appreciate that. So when I'm looking to buy a new piece of gear, I go to see if Gerald's reviewed it, and I go to see what he said. And he had a little bit of a line, and I waited in line, and I was just like, hey man, I know you probably want to see a whole bunch of stuff, or you got to get moving, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to say hi, how much I appreciate your channel, how much I'm a fan, and maybe grab a quick pic. And he was like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Thank you. And that's, just went about my way and continued to look at all the fun stuff. And then later on, I was walking by the Lexar booth because I use Lexar memory cards because they're affordable and they're great. I haven't had any problems with them to date. And there's Dunna from Dunna Did It. What an awesome dude. Like, so cool to chat. And he, spent actual time talking to me about like cameras and stuff, which was really cool. And, the thing I forgot to tell Donna was, when I was making the switch from Premiere to DaVinci, his videos were the ones that, like, they were easy, digestible, like, kind of allowed me to dip my toe into DaVinci and understand it without getting into the crazy, Casey Ferris, Colin Kelly color grading and fusion and all those editing techniques. I eventually started watching those videos once I understood DaVinci, but Dunno was the one that really broke the ice for me. And I still love checking in on his videos and watching his stuff. And he does some great reviews too. And then, so I grabbed a pick with him. And later in the day, we were down at the Atlas Lens Company booth, and Josh Yo from Make Art Now, who couldn't have been cooler. He's just such a, like, creative force that he just loves taking things to a different level and helping you think outside the box, and gave us some inside baseball on one of my favorite videos, which was really cool. That was awesome. I didn't grab a pic with him, but it was just really awesome for him to take the time to chat, and couldn't have been more gracious with his time. I know he's trying to enjoy some really cool products, but yeah, that right there really got me thinking about things. Like, why? Like, it really got me thinking about things. Sorry, there's something creaking over there, and I don't know what it was. It could be an animal, or might be the fake beehive up there. Not sure. Could be a squirrel. But it really got me thinking about things. It got me thinking about, like, community, right? And how important it is to build a community where, yes, ultimately, YouTube is a path to make more money, right? Whether you get paid by a company to review their products or use their products in your video, whether, it's through AdSense, or maybe you have your own products that you're selling that people might buy, or maybe it's, you make a pretty cool video, somebody sees it, and then they want to hire you for your work. Excuse me. Yes, that is kind of the motivating factor. And now, as a photographer and videographer, it's almost like you have to have a YouTube channel or some form of social media content to get noticed, right? And so it's that love-hate relationship I have with, like, social media, right? I recorded some stuff in the beginning of Build and me going into New York thinking I was going to have this big New York blog. But I don't know, I kind of detached myself from it and just wanted to experience it for myself. And I just wanted to, I just wanted to take it in, being my first one. I think maybe if I went on Tuesday, took it all in, maybe on Wednesday, I would then shoot more content, but really there's those moments where, you need to take in an experience for yourself. And I don't know how else to explain that. You don't have to record everything. You don't have to shoot everything. Yes, I know the old adage is everything is content, but sometimes it's, for you personally. And yesterday was for me. I met some really awesome people. Met up with my buddy Justin, who, from my other New York vlog. We met up and we just ran through. We were talking to people at the booths and just striking up conversations, and just, it was so much fun. It was a great time. Got to finally meet my buddy Alex, who I collaborate with, whether it's just pitching ideas to each other or whatever. We met through, a creative group, and we've been conversing for months, but yesterday was the first time we actually got to meet in person, and it was awesome. And we're about to work on a big project. He booked a big client, and I'm going to help him out with that. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but really cool. Met some, it's funny. The one downside to Build Expo was their food, right? They had like a little lunch line that had like pre-made sandwiches that were like $22 a piece. And it was the most pathetic sandwich I've ever seen in a box. And so Justin was like, yeah, let's not eat here. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And he took us to a restaurant that had an amazing pastrami Reuben sandwich, which was fantastic, worth every penny. And at that restaurant, we ran into a photographer. Her name's Molly, and come to find out, she's from my hometown of Ewing, New Jersey. Her and her husband live there, and they have their own little in-home photography studio, which is awesome, right? And if we hadn't struck up a conversation, like, I wouldn't have met her and, found another photographer in the community, which is cool. And yeah, it was just that whole thing I started thinking about, just building community, and then also thinking about, why I do it. Why do I really do it? Like I said, yes, it's a pathway that will lead to money eventually. But to be perfectly honest, it's like, have to put food on the table, have to be able to live a life and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a money component to it, but it's not the main driving force. What I discovered was, it's about helping people truly. And, there was a moment where I was at the Blackmagic design booth, and I hadn't played with one of the consoles for color grading yet. And so I was playing with their newer, micro color grading console. And just this guy just was asking me questions, and I'm going around DaVinci just doing my things, and I'm trying to figure out this panel, and it's like really having to relearn how to do everything, because for the last 3 years I've been doing everything mouse and keyboard. And and this guy was asking me questions about it, and I'm just trying to teach him and tell him things, and I'm just like, and it just stuck out to me that it's like, I'm not getting anything out of this, and I don't need to get anything out of it. It's just, he's asking me questions, and I'm answering with the knowledge that I have. And whatever I didn't know, it's like we grabbed the Blackmagic guy to be like, hey, question, when blah, 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 how do we get this to do this thing? And, if they could help, they did. And then we just struck up a conversation talking about the things that he's into, and come to find out, he is he's like an audio engineer, like recording live audio, which I'm like, that's awesome, because I want to shoot short films and films. I will need a sound guy. So by having that conversation and striking up that beginning of a relationship, I now can be like, hey, so I'm going to shoot this short film on these dates. Would you be available to come down and work on this with me? So it's just awesome, to be able to have these conversations. And, thinking back to it, like the photographer Molly and her husband, like, if I wanted to shoot a short film and I wanted BTS photos, or maybe, if I want to create like a cool poster or something, like I can have them come help me and stuff like that. Or, and if they need anything, if they have a really cool photo shoot that they want to get behind the scenes on, they could call me up and I can go shoot, BTS for them. It's just, yeah, it's just helping people. And in a lot of my videos, that, like, when I think about it, a lot of my videos are based on conversations that I've had with other people that ask me questions, right? Whether it's friends that I made from my creative group, where they, the creative group was more about like the business side of things, so there wasn't much technical involved, and I'm very technically oriented. Like, that's what I concentrated first going into all of this, is learning the technical composition. How does this work? What happens when you change these settings? How do you, right? And, with my DIY approach of, you can, put this on a skateboard and roll it, and you get the same slider motion on a countertop that you would if you don't have enough room for a dolly or something, right? So that's, and I have other videos that I'm going to be making entirely based off conversations that I've had with other people, to answer. Well, I answer their questions. It's not like I leave them hanging and, hey, wait for my video to come out. No, it's I have the conversation. I explain my point of view and then my perspective, and then I go and I start writing and develop a video. So that's where I get the most enjoyment out of it. So if I've ever helped you with anything, we have 223 subscribers here. And if I've helped one of you with your creative journey, whether it's giving you a different perspective or way to approach a problem, or maybe I answered a technical question that may have been bugging you, that was, that makes me happy. That's where I get the most enjoyment out of it. Because, really at the core of it, I love nerding out about all this stuff. As, from yesterday, just nerding out with Small Rig about all the things, and Tilta, about, the things, that the capabilities of being able to capture certain shots and, shoot certain angles, using their gear, and how I fully rig out my cinema rig, and it's, all Small Rig stuff, and, all that great stuff. It's just, and that brings me to another point about Build, was, talking to these manufacturers and these vendors. They were so open to creator feedback, like people using the stuff, like with Nomadic, and telling them, like, this bag is almost perfect, right? Like, you have the top flap. Now, if you take the bungee cord from your, the sling and add it to the 25-liter bag with the top door, that would make the bag absolutely perfect. Nothing else you would need to do for that bag. Or, there was just so many examples where it's like, like, this is how I would use this and all that. And, I made contacts. Like, I made contacts with, representatives of these companies that, when I shoot short films, I can hit them up and say, hey, what do you think you could do, like, to help me out with this? If I need lights, or, a crane, or something of that nature, like, and that was really awesome. And I was really happy that I went, because I almost didn't go. My main motivator to go on Wednesday was to see Peter McKinnon, and unfortunately he had to cancel due to a family issue, which, Peter, I hope everything's all good. I don't expect you to be seeing this, but, for the record, I hope everything's cool with your family. I hope everything works out well, and it sucks. We missed you. But yeah, I was like, if Peter's not going to be there, do I really need to go? And my girlfriend actually was like, yes, go. You need to go. And I did. And I had a great time. And yeah, and it really just brought, I don't know, an added fuel to the fire, really. And so here I am just, recapping my build experience, and it's just got the wheels humming, and kind of brushing on my why I do this, why I do YouTube and everything. And I don't know, I'm pausing because I'm trying to think, like, for like the last like 7 or 8 months, I've been thinking, I have a video in my head that I've written out a couple times of using cinematics to, explain my why, like what's driving me to do this, what's driving me to, what drove me to leave my job to go after a career in video and photo, right? Um, but then I think about it and I'm like, well, why don't I just tell you? So yeah, let's let's do it. Let's do it. Let me take a sip of my Kill Cliff Ignite. Not sponsored, by the way, just so you know, but I am an affiliate. As you know, so if you want to purchase Kill Cliff, it'll really help me out and help the channel out if you use the affiliate link to try out some Flaming Joe or some of their other amazing flavors that they have. I love the elk blood, and the creamsicle dream is amazing. But yeah, so stream of consciousness. We're gonna no cuts. I'm committing to it. No cuts. I'm just gonna export this video, color grade it because it's shooting in log, and then I'm just gonna upload it how it is. So this might get a little long. Oh, we're at 22 minutes already? Better yet. Yeah, better yet. If you watch this video and if you enjoyed it, why don't you drop in the comments below and let me know, do you want to see a cinematic video of why I do what I do? Or would you rather another one of these videos where I'm just sitting here having a conversation with you? Yeah, so let me know. And I appreciate you guys. And I really hope that, if you have any questions or anything, reach out. I'm here to answer questions. This isn't just, hey, look at me, I'm on YouTube. It's genuinely from a place of trying to help people, pursue a creative path. And yeah, maybe you're not into cameras and whatnot, but you want to learn, you're a writer and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I write? I sit there and I stare at a page, or I sit at a screen, you know, maybe maybe my path of creative search helps you, or I don't know. I don't know. Without your feedback, I'm kind of just shooting in the dark here, but this video was for, just my appreciation and offering a bare bones, a bare bones reflection on Build Expo and the things that it made me think about, right? Because I would love to build a community. I'd love to grow this channel huge because I'd like to help as many people as possible. And I would like to, I like working and collaborating with people. That is like my main driving focus. So like, also, if this video leads to me collaborating with some other creators on some really cool projects, yeah, that's all I want. I want to do this stuff, you know, and again, like, yeah, I don't necessarily want to record every aspect of it, but I do want to record, you know, some of the cool stuff, you know, some of the personal moments. Yeah, they're going to be mine, and I'm going to keep them for myself. And, you know, if I tease them or talk about them in a video, that's cool. But, you know, there's sometimes these moments you can't really, sometimes these moments you can't really capture on in a photo or capture in video. You do your absolute best. I mean, that's like our jobs as photographers and videographers and cinematographers, to capture those moments and make them feel real and bring the viewer into it and the audience, and get them to invest into the story and what's happening. But there's just that level of, yeah, it could be a beautiful photo, but at the same time, it's not as beautiful as when it's actually there in front of you and you're observing. So, yeah, there's going to be this little battle between me and you know, Paul is the creator and Paul is just the human being. Like, I'm just going to be constantly trying to figure out what to video, what not to video. And, you know, I'm going to video. I plan on, I want to get back to making YouTube videos regularly. And I have some stuff in the works, and I just have to be able to, I just got to bear down and do it, you know, instead of trying to set up this big grand video. I do, you know, they do say, you know, more honest and authentic approach. And then those videos don't do well. And I don't know. At this point, I kind of don't care. I'm just going to make what I'm going to make. If you tune in and watch, thank you very much. If you scoot by, see ya. But if you do stick around and want to join the community and participate by, you know, commenting, asking questions, you know, whatever it might be, share your stories. If you have a really cool story and you want to tell your really cool story, you know, let's talk about it. I want to hear your stories. I can't get enough of stories. So if you got a really cool story and you want to tell it, reach out. Let's set something up, whether it's Zoom or, you know, if it's feasible and I can film something and tell your story through like a mini doc or something like that. How awesome would that be? So let's do that. Thanks for your time. I know this is long-winded, but there's no cuts. This is raw, authentic, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you next time. Tiptoe, what's happening?